The Orpington Cricket Cast is sponsored by Chelsfield Electrical, the Chelsfield Pub, Cook and Matthews Sport, Gaztech, J&K Coach Tours, Langford Printers and Language Link UK Limited. Thank you very much for your continued support.
I want to be with a woman just like you. You're not from the only man who can love you like I can. Just let me be with the woman that I love. Baby girl, shine like a looking glass. Big serious girl, I want to get close to you.
Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the Orpington Cricket Cast. We are still searching for the perfect name for this, the more permanent name, but still hosted by myself, Big Mac, and Cube. It's tomorrow, and we are continuing our theme of club legends who have played with legends this week, very much so. And the full introduction, as usual, I'm going to hand over to Jack.
Perfect. So our special guest today started his career, his first-class career with Mumbai. He's played IPL cricket for the Kings 11 Punjab. He was an Orpington Overseas back in 2006. He has played with some absolute legends of the game. He's the ex-Mumbai under-19 coach, and he is currently an indoor academy coach as well. So today we have Wilkin Mota. Hello, Wilkin.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, not too
Thanks
bad.
for
How are
having
you?
me. Good, thank you very much.
How's the situation over there with sort of like COVID-19 going on? How are you all keeping?
Well, we're actually in a lockdown scene, so we're pretty much in the house, except that you step down for any essentials or for office work. But otherwise, every much is pretty much been asked to stay indoors.
And is that affecting sort of you on a day-to-day basis? Obviously, no cricket, nothing like that.
No, there's from the about second week of March, everything is kind of at standstill. And actually, if you go to see April and May is one of the most important months for the junior cricketers, because that's when, their summer vacations fall down. So when they finish their schools and they have their under 14s, under 16s, and under 19s have the selection games to prepare for next year. So that's kind of meanness this year.
Okay. Well, look, fingers crossed. Hopefully, things will start to calm down a bit. Obviously, today was meant to be our first league game of the season. So we're obviously all stuck inside still, but we're hopeful that over the next couple of weeks things start to ease. But fingers crossed that it's all safe over there as well. So I think the first thing that's going to be really interesting for us to talk about is growing up playing cricket in India. That is such a different place compared to cricket in England. Like, it is the number one sport. Like, it's so big over there. So do you want to talk to us about sort of growing up in India and playing cricket, what it was like?
Yeah, sure. Thing is, if you can compare cricket to somewhat what soccer is in England, or you may call it football. So every kid wants to play football. So that's how it is in India. Everybody wants to play cricket. You play cricket downstairs with your friends, in the small by lanes of Mumbai. If you've seen pictures, you might be able to, kind of relate with that. But playing cricket on a professional level was more of my dad's dream, where he used to take me out for practice in early school days and bowl a lot of balls to me. And that's how it actually started.
So it was sort of you and your dad, like, was it playing in the street, or like, was there competitive games going on, or?
No, once I was not very sure when I was young. You don't have that much idea of what you really want to do. But my dad he played a bit of uni cricket back there. So he was quite keen for me to be playing cricket. So he took me to practices, to school practices. And, there comes a stage in your life where, well, you think that, okay, this is the only thing you are decent at. So you might as well pursue that.
Unfortunately, me and Ben don't really know. We're not that good.
No.
So we've got a teacher and recruiter over here. So, but we play it because we love it, but not because we're that good. How competitive is cricket in India at a younger age? Like, is it really competitive, or is it only a select few that get picked? Just talk to us about the whole, I suppose, cricket from a junior level.
Yeah, you have games from the, when I was playing, it was under 14, but nowadays you have games from the under 12s. So it's quite competitive. And during the summer camp, that what I was talking about, you have at least about 16 to 24 different teams participating, and every team would have about 20 guys as centers, from which they would pick about 14 or 15 guys. So it's quite competitive because you have inter-school tournaments. You have 2 tournaments in the schools. One is which is up to the 6th or the 7th grade, and then up to the 10th grade. So it's quite competitive at quite early.
Okay. And the next level of getting picked up to play for the likes of, obviously Mumbai was your first class game. How does the selection process start with them? Were you playing at the junior levels for them, or was it later on that you got picked up? Or
Well, the thing is, you have club cricket, one, and you have company cricket, which is the corporate cricket. That's kind of the base where your first class selection happens, which is your county and first class. We have 3-day games for our corporate levels. And over here, first classes of 4-day games, and then you have 1-day and T20s. So that's kind of one of the most main tournaments which you have to really do well. So you would be competing with anyone who's playing India also. So all corporates would employ guys. So like I play for Tata. I used to play for Tata. So for our team, we had Saurav Ganguly coming in to play, Ajit Agarkar, Ramesh Pawar. So these were guys, and we used to compete against, say, Ajinkya Rahane, Rohit Sharma used to play for Indian Oil, Wasim Jafar, who's played in England for many, many years. So you have to be playing against them, and then if you do well against them in these games, then you kind of get a look in.
Awesome. Anything on the junior side, Big Deck?
Yeah, there was one thing. Oh, sorry, Wilkin. I just have one big question.
Yeah.
It's a little bit sneaky of me, but basically, I'm a geography teacher, so I'm a bit of a nerd as well. But there was one thing that I really, really wanted to ask. Just as you were talking about growing up, you talked about how important cricket was. You said it was like football. India being such a big country with so many different religions and even languages amongst its own people, how important do you think cricket has been in sort of uniting such a big, diverse place?
It's very important. Nowadays we are sitting in front of the telly, switching on Netflix, and and just sitting as a family. But that's what cricket does. Earlier days, it was just cricket which used to get the families together, have the whole house sit in, cheer for Sachin and everybody. And as we all know, Sachin was the guy who gave a lot of people a lot of hopes, not only because of sports, but just in life, that there are a lot of things that you can achieve over a period of time with hard work. Talent is one thing, but you need to work hard at it. So what cricket does to India is it unites, because, as you know, India is having n number of religions, but cricket on its own is one religion, you may say, that everybody follows.
You mentioned some amazing names already, but obviously you then, after sort of the earlier years, you played, I think in 2004 was your first class game for Mumbai. So you had a couple of seasons at first class cricket. How did you find your first 2 seasons playing first class cricket, and sort of maybe the difference between that level compared to corporate level?
Uh, the thing is, game is almost similar because you're competing with the same likes of guys playing against each other. In fact, if you've done well in time shield, you kind of more than prepared for first class cricket. But the thing is, what you have to deal with is pressure. When you're playing for a company, if you fail for 2 games also, you're going to get the third game. But when it comes to a first class game, you fail for 2 innings or 2 games, you might not get your third game in Mumbai, and for your chance again, you'll have to go back, grind in, and you might get a chance after 2 years, 3 years, you don't know. So that's what kind of you need to learn to handle, and which I kind of struggled at the start, because you are coming in the likes of dressing room with all these big guys who already played for India, who are going through about their chorus easily, and you have to stand there and match their performances, if not better. So it's kind of hard task at the start.
Well, I say I've got a list of some of the names that you played with at Mumbai. So yeah. I know you mentioned them already. So Zahir Khan, Rohit Sharma, Wasim Jafar, Ramesh Pawar, Sachin Tendulkar. Like, these guys are. Like, I mean, Rohit is obviously massive these days for some of the stuff that he's producing. Sachin Tendulkar is the man in Indian cricket. Like, I don't think it can get any better for a cricket fan to be playing with those types of players.
Yeah. So I played only one game with Sachin, and that was the Ranji Trophy finals. And I had the luck to be playing with him. Had a small partnership, and in fact, both the innings, the first inning, we were put into bat first, and it was kind of a slightly green pitch, and we batted first because it was a 5-day game. Then I was sent in early to bat in if we lost the early wicket. Out here when I play in Ranji Trophy, I normally bat at number 6 or 7 or maybe 8, more of a lower middle order guy.
So I'm just going to get the scorecard up for it, because I did get it up.
For the other guys to come in later on and get easy.
It's not a bad batting lineup in the first innings, though, is it? If you look at it,
except the number 3 in there.
But you can say that you batted above Rohit Sharma and Sachin Tendulkar in a final. So look, we've gone on to the
even in the second innings.
Yes, exactly. So if I scroll down, here we go. Second innings, batting 4. So Rohit snuck up above you. But obviously, and then Sachin just below. But let's talk about the Ranji Trophy. You won the competition in 2007. But the performance that I suppose that you're known for is the semi-final, where the team got off to a really bad start. You scored some runs, and then you took loads of wickets. So do you talk to us about that game, that semi-final, just to explain to people?
Yeah. So we were playing against Baroda in Baroda. It was, we were playing against the likes of Irfan Pathan, Yusuf Pathan, and everybody. We were missing all our important players, like Ramesh Pawar wasn't there in that game. From the list that you showed, we were missing Ramesh Pawar, Ajit Agarkar, Zahir Khan, Sachin, Rohit. These guys weren't playing in the semis. When I went into bat in the second innings, we were 0 for 5, which is you can't even think about that in a dream. So it just happened that you don't think about it. You just go there and try and bat a few overs, try and get a few runs. I was lucky to have a partnership with Abhishek Nair to start off with, and then he got out. And then I had a partnership with Vinayak Samant, where I got only 33 runs, but he went on to get a 50. So that kind of helped us to stay there and fight it out, which we were eventually able to go there and win. And I got 3 wickets in both the innings. So it was more of a lucky 3 for me, where I scored 33 runs and 3 wickets in both innings.
And then obviously you've got the experience of them playing in the final with all those players as well.
So I might not have played in the finals because we had all these guys coming back. So, but because I did well in there, and they wanted an extra medium pacer playing, so I played as a fourth medium pacer. We already had Zaid Khan, Ajit Agarkar, and Abhishek Nair, who's all rounder, and we know he's done well. He's played for India also. So I played as the fourth medium pacer, where Nilesh Kulkarni had to miss out as a spinner, which was a very big decision just taken before the toss.
Okay. Well, look, that's great. I mean, from your side of things, I don't think it would get much better. But let's go back a year then. So the year is 2006, and oh, is that your little one?
Yeah, man, come. Come. Yeah, that's my Ansh. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Are you gonna? Is he gonna be? Is he gonna be playing cricket?
He's more of a football guy. He likes football a bit more than cricket. So.
Oh, cool. Who does he support?
He doesn't have that much idea as of now. He just started playing, kids football. Just goes for an hour through the week. That's it. So, but yeah, he's a lefty, so that's to his advantage.
Yes, definitely. And while we're on it, football in India is obviously growing massively at the moment as well, isn't it? With you it's sort of getting some players coming over towards the end of their careers. I know there's some former Premier League players that have played over there as well. So it's growing, right?
Yeah. So in the last about 5 years, a lot of other sports are catching up, which is good for India. We have kabaddi, we have football, we have badminton, tennis, which is kind of fast growing now. So earlier it used to be only cricket and hockey in the earlier days in the 80s, but now a lot of other sports are, getting in, and which is good for youngsters who have more options to look at and not just cricket.
Good. So
you say some good players, Jack. I believe Roger Johnson has played in India as well, which isn't quite the same.
Roger Johnson is West Ham and Bromley Football Club legend.
The relegator.
So we'll go back a year to 2006. So you were Orpington's overseas in 2006. You scored 264 runs in 12 games, which I'll have you know is more than Dylan. I know Dylan will be watching this, who he scored in 18 games. That's how you bat Dylan. There's 250s in there. But the impressive one, you took 21 wickets at 23, which is pretty good as well. So how did you enjoy your time at Orpington?
But I think that wicket list, Bradus, is it? He got more wickets than, Robbo, and he always told me, you're not going to get more wickets than him because he's just going to come, bowl his dibbly-dobblies of 3 steps and get a lot more wickets. So you don't need to run in 15 yards. So that's quite kind of, I really remember. And he ended up getting more wickets than me for sure. Yeah, the experience was quite good because I was kind of young. The contract happened through an email where I was trying to get some clubs because I was going to stay with a friend who was playing in Folkestone. So I thought if I could get some experience of playing, and that's how I got through. I was just staying there for the weekends and traveling up and down between Folkestone or sometimes Leicester, where we had some family friends. The pitches were kind of nice and dry, very low, so I had to adapt to it. By the time I adapted, it was close to the end of the season.
Yeah.
So it was a good experience. One of my first years to play that proper club cricket.
So let's take you to let's talk about your first game. So I think you bowled a couple of overs. It's quite windy. I'm trying to. I think it was against Lordswood. It might have been that you played, and the sight screen decided to blow over. And what did you have to do? What did you have to do next?
We had to go and pick up the side screen. I would think, which is first off, we really don't do that in India. So.
Well, welcome to English cricket quite quickly then.
We have people to do that over there.
So, and then some other memories. I think the most common, when I asked the club about some questions for you, they wanted you to describe Pablo and how he plays cricket.
Yeah, I think he was more of a Wilby Richards of Orpington,
Oh,
Sorry.
Oh, there you go.
right.
Yeah. Okay, back
The
then.
Viv Richards of Orpington. I'll tell you what, that is the nicest thing anyone has ever said about Pablo.
Well, a gem of a bloke. Used to go there and enjoy his batting, swing at almost everything. But a good guy. Always fun to be around in the evening, especially. So yeah, it was a good time.
You were batting with Pablo when he was on 94,
Okay.
and do you remember what he did when he was on 94, which you described as dangerous, Pablo?
I have no clue. Probably you could just throw some light on that.
So he was on 94, and he decided to try and hit one for six, and he's got caught on the boundary, and and as the game finished, you described Pablo as dangerous.
Well, probably dangerous is because you never know when he's going to get out. So he might be going really well, and the next ball he just tries something out of the box, and chances of getting out is very high.
Your favourite drink in Orpington, was it
Smirnoff Ice? Yeah.
So I'm guessing before you came over, you didn't drink too much, and then when you left, you probably never wanted to drink again.
No, probably I used to, at the start I used to have a couple of breezes before I left. So right now I have a few drinks, but sorry.
That's right.
So yeah, probably at the start I used to have one or two Smirnoff Ice, but by the end I used to have about 5 or 6. So the capacity get increased in a way, thanks to Robo and everyone. Where I used to go out often on Saturday evening because I stay over and then leave on Sunday afternoons.
That is a real sign of the OCC there. We do leave imprints on you. It just might not be on your heart. It's probably more likely to be on your liver.
Any other memories that you have of Orpington that stick out? Any players that you played with or any people that you potentially really enjoy spending time with? Or?
In a way, I was unlucky to not having been able to spend a lot of time there because through the week I was not there. But whatever little time I could spend, it was good bunch of guys to hang around with. Especially everybody were kind-hearted and very warm to you. Which is a very good thing. And it's just that I think Ben and Brados and was it Smithy and these guys and everybody were there. And during the day, they used to be fun. Evenings used to be crazier. So yeah, we used to play hard cricket and then enjoy equally hard. And I believe the nights used to be more harder than on the ground for all the guys.
Do you think your experience in England made you a better cricketer?
Yeah. I've just played. That was my first year in Orpington, and then I ended up playing about another 4 to 5 seasons where I played in Durham. I played in Whalley in Manchester for a couple of seasons. So it does make you think about adapting to different conditions. At the start, you take a bit more time, but then you need to change your technique a bit and the way of thinking. And especially in England, later on when I played as a pure professional, if you didn't do well, the team didn't do well. So you had to stand up and be counted, or the team wouldn't do well as you would think of. So that kind of makes you take more responsibility, and that kind of is what life is all about. You have to take a bit more responsibility on yourself to see through things.
Awesome. So we've spoken about the Ranji Trophy. We've spoken about Orpington. Now let's talk about the IPL. It is the biggest 2020 competition in the world. It's a fact. The final is watched by millions. How is it to be able to say I've been part of the IPL? Obviously, in the earlier days as well, when they were obviously some of the teams don't exist anymore, but you obviously played for Kings 11 Punjab, who are still around. And talk to us about the whole IPL experience, because that's amazing.
It's a different thing altogether. The things surrounding it is just unimaginable. The kind of attention it gets, the kind of treatment you get everywhere, the way you're looked at, especially being a part of the team. Naturally, probably you're not being looked at. It's about the guys are surrounded, but it's incredible, and probably something like what's when I went to watch EPL game. Blackburn versus Manchester City, and it's crazy. That's how it is out here. It's just crazy people in the crowds. It can get to you at times, but once you played a few games, you know what you're going to deal with. So then you are a little better prepared. The other side is how the international cricketers prepare for their games, which is amazing the way they go about it. They're quite professional about it. They know what they want to do. They have plans already figured out for the batsmen coming up and the bowlers coming up. So I would like to share one example about Brett Lee. We played in Mohali one game, and because of heavy dew, it's difficult to grip the ball. The next day, he went into the nets and he was practicing Yorkers where he dipped the ball in water and kept bowling them. So that the next time that thing happens, he's much more prepared than what he was before. So that's how these guys go about their profession. They are hard workers, and they want to give their best and be prepared.
How quick is Brett Lee?
Lucky I didn't face him except for a practice game, but he's quite quick, yeah.
So let's go through some of the players that you played with in the IPL. So you obviously had Tom Moody as your coach, who is an absolute legend of, especially in the 2020 stuff. Like he's done lots of franchising. I think he was due to be a coach in the 100 coming up as well. But you obviously had Yuvraj as one of your captains one year.
Yeah.
Mahela Jayawardena, Simon Katic, Brett Lee, as you've mentioned, Kumar Sangakarra, Sean Marsh, Irfan Pathan, Ramnaresh Sarwan. Like these are some serious players again. Like, what's it like being around them, and is it also a little bit hard not to get starstruck, like when you're playing with these guys and playing against them?
Yeah, I mean, you need to be careful of how you're going to go about your things. You don't want to come in their way of certain preparations because, end of the day, they are the big guns in the team, and you don't want to be standing in their way of some preparations. But they are quite professional about it. Like few of them are very, the Sangakarras and the Jayawardenas, Brett Lee, they're quite like a gem of a person. If you approach them, they're more than happy to guide you. Simon Katic, I had a small chat with him, and they would share about how they went about doing their things and how we could kind of think about it and see how can we adapt to that. So it's an experience which you can't really say, but you need to live it to really know it.
Do you think? Also, in 2009, I think it was the team reached the final.
The very first year we reached the semi-finals.
You reached the semi-finals. How was that compared to the sort of the semi-finals of the Ranji Trophy, like the crowds and that type of thing?
Yeah, it's more of a pressure game. A lot of things going around. I was lucky to play in that game in hometown Mumbai, and we're playing against Chennai. Sadly, we lost, but I went into bat, and here also we were about 60, 70 odd runs for 5 or 6 wickets down, and I had a small partnership with Ramesh Pawar then. So it was a good experience playing against Mockles and Murlis, and it's just a little bit too much to process at that time. When you look back, you said, oh, maybe you could have done it this way, or you could have done it better that way. But it's amazing, and happy memories always.
So you obviously, your last sort of game playing cricket was sort of like 2015, I think it was, that your last
14,
first
15,
game. Yeah. So you then went into coaching, right?
Yes.
What made you want to get into coaching, and what are you currently doing now coaching wise?
Well, I always wanted to be connected with the game. So there was a patch where I didn't really play first class cricket between 2011 to 13 for 2 or 3 years. I just played a couple of years in England, and then so between that, I'd done a coaching course held by the BCCI because I didn't want to kind of waste my time around. And once I decided that, at 34 years of age, I said it was enough. I couldn't really go on more and go through the struggles of getting picked or no, and it kind of becomes hard after a stage. I knew I wanted to be associated with cricket, and coaching is something which I kind of thought I could be helpful with and good with. So that's how I got into coaching. After that, I coached a few small teams in Bombay to get some experience, and then I was lucky to first get the fielding coach assignment for the Mumbai Academy, and then I got the under 19 team where we had. I was lucky to play with Sachin, but over here I had to coach his son Sachin Tendulkar. So he was in a team, and then this year I was the coordinator of the academy, come batting coach. So that was a step big for me, and it's been a good experience. Lot of experience in a small time. It's been fast paced, but it's fast growing, and I've enjoyed it thoroughly.
So, who is going to be the next big player for India? Is Sachin Sun gonna make it? Do we think?
He's a good fast bowler. He's quite sharp. He's quick that way, and he's very strong. If you see his pictures, he's taller than his dad also, and he's what you call fast bowlers should be like. He's a little up there and going at the batsman always. So he's got the pace. So you never know. He's quite young. He's still 19 years old. So yeah, why not?
Awesome. So one thing we get our guests to do is we get them to pick a team based on a topic. It might be a jokey one. With you, Wilkin, I think it's fair to say we should just get you to pick the best team of players you've played with, because it's probably going to be amazing. So if you can just talk through like your batting order, maybe it might be easier, and why you've got certain players playing for you, or whatever order you feel most comfortable.
Sure. Yeah, I think I'll have Wasim Jaffer at top of the list. He's been exemplary all through his career in India and in England. Maybe with him, I'll have Sangakarra. He's one of the classiest batsmen you will see. So then you will have Rohit Sharma, Sachin for sure. Not me at number 3 or 4, probably not in the team as well. So so Sachin, Ajinkya Rahane, he would be there. Then in the bowlers, we'll have Brett Lee. We'll have Ajit Agarkar. I have high regards for him because I played against him, with him. So for sure. And maybe on the 12th man, you might just slip in Pablo. You just keep the dressing room quite light.
Pablo does not fit into that team, but I'm sure he'll be delighted to hear.
No, we keep him in the dressing room.
Anyone with the nickname of, being like Viv Richards, I mean, yeah, Pabs can slot in there, no problem.
Yeah, sure.
Wilkin, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much, and I'm sure the guys will absolutely love hearing from you. So, look, we'll keep an eye out on your next steps as well to see where you could end up coaching, and if you're ever obviously in the area in Orpington, I'm sure that there'll be a few Smirnoff Ices waiting for you.
Sure. Thanks for having me. It was nice to get for you to get in touch and do this. It's just bring back good memories. I'll share a picture with you, which the team had gifted me when I left. It's a team picture, so I'll share that with you. Maybe you'll be happy to share with others. It'll just be
we can enter it in here at the end as well.
Yeah, so. Sure. I'll share that. Thank you very much for doing this. Thank you. Thoroughly enjoyed.
Thanks, Wilkin. Speak soon.
Thank you. Bye. Take care. See you.
I mean, that team
is incredible.
I genuinely thought. I mean, to be fair, I think I still a toss up. I'm personally still going to put this as the second best team we've had. But I mean in terms of just wow.
I mean, but Sharma, Sachin, like that 3 and 4 is what. Do you know what I mean? That's like Sachin's probably the best modern day cricketer there's ever been. Like if you think about it, he united a country because he was that good. One thing that we probably should have asked him is Sachin versus Virat, but that's a question.
I don't think there are many Indians who are genuinely desperate to answer that question. I think they're probably happy that they both played for them instead.
Cool. So look, we've got to do your 1 to 11. We've got a bit of time today as well, so we can talk about it. And we could probably do a wrap up of the last few weeks that we've had and talk about some of the guests we've had on as well, because we've not done one just me and you. So the Big Mac 11 this week, based on Wilkin Mota, is "What's the Motor with you?" That is a terrible pun, by the way.
Yeah, Jack came up with that. So.
Yeah, of course. So, go on. It's injury prone 11.
I mean, it started off as an injury prone 11, but actually we have a few sort of weird excuses. What I've gone for instead is some injury prones, some injuries, and I have slotted in someone who you won't expect to be in there, but he's given one of the worst excuses for not doing something on a cricket pitch I've ever heard. And I also have a couple of notable mentions as well, so we can flesh this out a bit. I'm going to start with this is no batting order either. I'm just going to do it in little groups. So at 1 and 2, I've got the never ask what's the motor with them, and that is Pete Smith and Bootsy. 2 people that you do not ask the question, how are you to, because you will get riled at you, just a list of ailments and issues. So yeah, very, very nice blokes. Obviously one being my godfather, I have to say that. And Bootsy, fantastic to see him in the match all the time. But genuinely don't ask him what's wrong, because you won't hear the end of it. Everything's wrong.
So you've gunned for Jules Smith in nearly every episode, and now you're gunning for Pete.
Yes. I haven't actually got George in here either, which he'll be glad about.
To be fair to George, he's not the most injury prone, and he often doesn't make excuses.
No, he's copped a bit of flat recently off me as well, so I thought I'd give him a week off. I'll go for 3 and 4 together because the injuries are very similar. Circumstances are very different. Mike Knight, OCC legend Mike Knight. What I love for Mike, he commented on the very first podcast. He sent a message for us saying that he loved it. The century when he took the ball to the eye, bled all over the place.
No, he's going at number 4. You're going in at number 4 now, aren't you?
Number 4 is me. I don't know if you can actually see it on the screen. You can a bit. That line there, that's a scar. Children who are watching who get to 18 and think, I don't have to wear a helmet anymore. It's fine if you do. Don't have 6 pints before you go out to bat because you hit it into your own face.
I was there for that. I wasn't playing. I was watching. I played every year since. Not very well, but the Jacko Memorial Day, wasn't it? And oh my word, the blood. It was less blood than Mike Knight, to be fair.
My white's went red. I didn't carry on. It wasn't important. Number 6. Number 6 and 7 will go for 2 young blokes at 6 and 7. Is that wrong? No, that's 5 and 6, isn't it? 5 and 6.
Yeah.
5 and 6. I really tick these off because I'm doing them in a weird order. I don't know why I'm not doing it in order I wrote them down. That would make sense, wouldn't it? 5 and 6 are 2 young blokes. They've come up, I think, a little bit as some of the most handsome members of the OCC when people have made some suggestions, and even stylish, some would say. I mean, one of them, yeah. One of them, no. Dom Grover, for the OCC, doesn't get injured a huge amount. OCC FC, every single time he steps foot on a football pitch, he breaks something. So he's in there.
Domi's super injury prone, even on the cricket pitch. Do you not remember the incident at Raynham?
No.
Where he started bowling off spin, First over the game, got hit for 2 sixes over his head, so came off his 24-yard run up, steaming in. Bloke's gone smashed straight back at him, hit his finger and snapped it, and he was out for 8 weeks or something ridiculous.
There you go. Actually, I'll tell you what, I've just realised 5 and 6 also, lovely sisters. Get into contact. Number 6 is James Reed. Genuinely, how old is James? He's the same age as you, isn't he?
He's like about 2 weeks older than me.
Yeah, so how old are you?
22.
So James is 22. I've never heard someone moan about a back so much as James Reed. He bowls 3 overs and he's lying on the floor like a cat, stretching himself. It's pathetic. After James, we then go to 7 and 8. Frank is at 7. Schmidt, you mentioned it the other week. The Frank v Stockers race. Frank had a head start, and genuinely after about 3 steps, looked like he'd been shot because he'd done his hamstring. It was pathetic, Frank, but enjoyable to watch as well. And at 8, he's been in a list before as well, maybe 2 lists. He is held together by glue and is also known as the Tin Man by some. Rodders, who he's 85% deep heat spray, I think, most of the time. He stinks a bit. He takes 4-hour showers and definitely verifies his place on the list. At 9 is the captain of the injury-prone 11.
Chris Watts?
Jack, do you have a guess?
Chris Watts.
It is Chris Watts. Every bit of his body doesn't work, apparently. And if he's not injured, he's dog sitting, so he can't play cricket. But we'll move on.
Oh, if he's not dog sitting, he's moaning
at
about
10, he's awake, he's moaning. At 10, we've got someone who may not be expecting to feature in this list. He's also a wicket keeper, which is handy because I've got one. Ches. I remember playing with Ches when my dad was captain of the four. Up sporting a new tattoo, the compass on his wrist. Had it all wrapped up in cellophane and did not keep that day because he didn't want to get hit with the ball on it. Pathetic. Grow up, Ches.
Number 11. All right, so we've had
number 11.
Let me try and work this out because there might be worse. There's some notable mentions in this, but
I'll do the notable mentions before number 11.
Am I in this list, Big Mac?
You're one of my notable mentions. Why are you a notable mention, Jack? What did you do?
What haven't I done? There's the finals day, the 2020 finals day a couple of years ago where I pulled a muscle running after the ball and then had to open the batting and cost the team about 10 balls because I couldn't run. And then I broke my ankle last Sunday game last season, didn't I? Stepping on the ball, trying to stop it before kids. That is one reason why you should never use your feet in the outfield. Broke my ankle.
Jack Morrow, Simon Jones, Glenn McGrath. There you go.
The 3 absolutely amazing cricketers, mate.
On a similar vein to you's page, it wasn't cricket related, but it meant he missed a lot of cricket. Also got him out of missing out a game of cricket because he went to go and watch Taylor Swift. Embarrassing. Any other notable mentions before I do reveal my number 1 or number 11 as it is?
Rich likes an injury, to be fair.
He did his hand, didn't he? Recently?
He did his hand recently.
My number 11. He's not a regular injury, but definitely my favourite injury memory I've got. 4th team playing against Blackheath Knights or something silly like that at the Charlton Park Oval. Lovely setting. Tea was in the cafe which served the local park. Harry Graham was bowling and he bowled a quicker ball and it popped up and behind the stumps was his dad, Bob Graham, keeping wicket. It hit him in the eye. All comes up, horrible big black eye. So at tea we go, got any ice for his eye? Didn't have any ice. They went in the freezer. What did they have? A frozen panini. So I've got a mental image of Bob Graham with one hand holding a frozen panini on his face and with the other hand eating an eaten mess that he had as part of his tea, which will stay with me for a very long time.
Good, very good. So, but before we wrap up, we've been keeping busy and we've obviously got a couple more to come. So, which I think we're leaving to suspense the ones coming up. We've got 2 more just to be booked. Well, one's we're filming tomorrow actually, but I don't know when it'll be out. But let's talk some of the podcasts. So we started with Neil Markel. That feedback was great. We loved that.
Yep.
Dylan's, we all miss Dylan. He's very funny. He doesn't shut up. Like he doesn't shut up, and we love him for it. But filming a podcast with him, it took us 5 attempts to get it right at the start.
Yeah, and I don't envy the editing because I mean you cut it down to how long?
50 minutes.
50 minutes. I mean, there's a good half an hour sliced out of that where he's just interrupting.
We started early because we didn't want it to clash with the next one, and yeah, we ended up cutting out the first 20 minutes. Well, there's all sorts we didn't talk about, like the unedited podcast and
yes,
the unscreen podcast.
That will never be revealed to the world.
It's pretty good, but it's on Skype, so it's impossible to edit. So Zoom is the way forward. So next we went to Schmitty. I mean, we didn't do a lot for that, to be fair. If we think
it was quite nice to take the back seat, and thanks to Pabs and Robbo again for coming on. They were really good. Pabs has come out really well with most of these chats as well. I've noticed a lot of respect.
Yeah, I think if you're younger, maybe slightly younger than me, people don't appreciate actually what Pabs has done for the club. Like, he is an absolute legend. Like, he's got some stories, his character. Like, every club needs a Pabs to get through. I think with the Schmitty podcast, it was good just to let them catch up, and like you could see the joy in Schmitty's face talking about some of those stories, which were great. And then we went on to Neil Taylor, and I think from our point of view, that's the most interesting. Like, he was amazing at like some of the stories he had, like Eric Clapton and Ian Botham, Mick Jagger and Derek Underwood, like, are 2 great stories. And then his team, I mean, we just listened to Wilkin's team, but his team, which Robin Smith, Botham, Alex
Richards. The fact that Brian Lara didn't make it in, it sort of says a lot.
Yeah. Well, and the bowling lineup was Curtly Ambrose,
Malcolm Marshall, Wesley McGrath, and Mushtaq Ahmed. I mean, like,
without a lid those days as well.
Yeah.
But look, I again, thanks to Neil, thanks to Schmitty, thanks to Dylan, and obviously Wilkin, who's just come on. Look, we hope you guys are enjoying it. We will keep doing these as long as the interest is there for us. But from Cube to Big Mac, sign us off, sir.
Thank you very much for listening, everyone, and we'll see you soon.